Welcome to Rein It In. I'm Rachel.
I'm Matt.
And we are talking to you today about the last few days that we've spent in Wales. We've done a bunch of ruins and a bunch of other stuff. What's the other stuff we've done?
I don't know. This is going to be the inns and cathedrals.
Yeah.
In a nod to Carcassonne, the board game.
So some cathedrals, some castles, many inns. That's Wales. I studied abroad in Wales about 17 years ago, and that is how we found ourselves back here. Matt hadn't come to visit me when
Hold on. I came to visit.
He didn't come to Wales to visit me.
Right.
I was just going to correct that. He didn't come to Wales to visit me. He visited me, and we went to France, and we went to Italy, and we got engaged, and we went to London, and it was great. But he did not make it to Wales. So we decided that since we were in the UK and I was going to be over here for a couple of weeks, we would take a side trip to Wales. So revisit Swansea, which is where we are sitting currently and where I studied, and then also spend a couple days in Cardiff.
Yeah. And if you're an American, or I guess if you're from the US specifically, happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving.
So, I didn't make it out to Wales. And it's 17 years later, we finally made it back. You said we did Cardiff, and now we're currently in Swansea.
Yep.
We had some travails in Cardiff, but we stayed in the city center. We had a super nice little Airbnb.
It was a very new, apartment complex / shopping center.
Yeah.
It definitely wouldn't have been there when I was here previously.
No.
So the apartment was really nice.
Yeah, it was the first time you may or not be able to hear the Airbnb we're in here in Swansea is very echoey.
Yeah.
We're right near the road, so there's always traffic noise, which is still quieter than the apartment I had in London.
Yeah, it's not that loud, but it's very echoey. This place needs some curtains and some rugs, nobody's business.
Some more artwork.
Almost everywhere needs more artwork, though.
But the place in Cardiff was the first time I lived in quiet.
Yeah, it was very well insulated, I think, because we were right over the main street. So
yeah, and we could hear some people dragging their trash cans around, some businesses and things like that. But it worked out pretty
noise.
Good. No, well, because there were no cars there.
Right, exactly. It was a pedestrian-only street. So
pedestrian-only streets.
Anyway,
so what did we do while we were in Cardiff?
So we actually didn't spend very much time in Cardiff at all.
No.
We booked a tour through Airbnb to go to Tintern Abbey, which is that abandoned abbey. You'll see some pictures on the Instagram.
Yeah. What are we at Instagram? We're
Rated in _podcast.
Or is it just Rated in podcast? I think it's _podcast.
I think it's underscore. Yeah. Anyway. So you've seen pictures of this abbey before. It was a popular, thriving place, and then Henry VIII decided to get married to someone else and destroy a lot of buildings.
Well, and a lot of people. I'm sure he just killed an insane amount of monks.
Right. Yeah. But then everything went to shit if you were a Catholic.
Yeah. In fact, it was funny. We were on the tour, and we'll talk about the tour first, right? We did we went up to this place called Eagle's Nest outside of Chepstow, something. You don't remember either. Okay. Yeah. So it's right on the edge of the Welsh and English border.
We were along the Wye River the whole day, and the Wye River is the border in between England and Wales.
Yeah.
And it runs, the whole border. So I've been along it many years ago. There's a town called Hay-on-Wye that is entirely made up of used bookstores for the most part and is super fun. So that's much further north of where we were. So we were at basically where the Wye meets the ocean. And so the Wye is also tidal river.
Severn
is a tidal
river.
Yeah. And so we were kind of in that Severn Bay area for the whole day. So Eagle's Nest, you could walk up and you could get a really nice view of the river.
There were some serious old school steps. It
365 steps.
Yeah, they say Victorian time was when it became kind of it was a manor, a baron, some sort of baron had some land there, baronet or whatever, and he spent his own money to build in some steps and
became a popular tourist destination.
Yeah. So,
but the steps are
dragon-sized.
Yes, and also, I mean, they're just old. They're not consistent,
right?
Under any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
and of course, it was wet. That it's going to be a theme for this whole episode. Is that of course it was wet.
It's been a little damp up here.
I mean, it's Wales.
Yeah.
November.
But it was a heck of a hike. It was like 1 mile there, 1 mile back, maybe. Or
I think it was half a mile there and half a mile back. Yeah. It just was half a mile of stairs up and down.
Yeah.
There was no part of it that wasn't climbing.
It was an amazing view, though. You could there's this crazy oxbow of the Y at the end there, and
you'll also be able to see that on the Instagram if you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, it's lovely, and it's like all the sort of like. Well, I think of them as very Welsh, but that's because I've spent more time in Wales than England. The patches of farmland that are divided by some places are like brick walls, and a lot of places hedges. But you can see the kind of differentiation in grass or land color or crop color, and then also the borders. Anyway, it's lovely.
Yeah, it was pretty. And it was really foggy when we were driving up, but we still had a pretty good view. You couldn't quite see to Bristol, I think, but you could almost see to it maybe.
And I will say we've had really good weather, although I've said, of course, it was wet. Like, we've seen the sun every day that we've been here.
Yeah.
And we've not been, like, heavily rained on. It's been, like, relatively warm. I mean, it's been, like, upper 40s, low 50s. Like, it's not bad. We've been really lucky with our weather.
Yeah. And the second half of the Tintern Abbey
expedition.
Sure. Yeah, we'll call it. We did it through Airbnb Experiences. We were the only 2 people that were signed up through Airbnb Experiences, but there were 7 of us plus the guide.
No, there were 6 of us plus the guide.
6 of us plus the guide?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And they came, picked us up. It was great. Drove us out there. After we did the Eagle's Nest outlook, we jumped back in the vehicle, and then we cooked over to Tintern Abbey and Tintern, Wales,
Tintern the town,
I guess, yeah. And
Tintern the town.
we took at that point, probably almost like a 5-mile hike. It was.
Yeah,
we did not quite realize because we parked next to the Abbey. And then we were like, oh, well, we're just going to check out the Abbey and then go for a walk after that or something. But no, it was just like straight into a mud-covered...
Oh, my God, it was so muddy.
Yeah.
I actually threw out my shoes. I thought I was going to wash them, and then I looked at them, and I was just like, you know what? Whatever. These shoes have served me well through 2 trips.
Like Dragon Con.
Yeah, like...
Because they were bought for a Dragon Con costume, weren't they?
No, they were bought for Japan.
Oh, okay.
I bought a pair of Vans. Vans I found are nice because you can wear them with a skirt, like a casual skirt, and like low socks and be fine. You can also wear them with pants. Anyway, I found them to be pretty good travel shoes. I will buy some again, but I was like,
we didn't throw them out. We left them at the Airbnb.
Right. I'm going to have to wash these so significantly that I'm not sure if they'll make it.
Well, and plus it's just... when we're packing in a kind of smaller suitcase, it's a little tough.
So, I mean, they served me well. But yes, it was incredibly muddy.
Yeah, we had to, like, a tree got uprooted within the last couple of days since he'd done the tour. And so we had to climb over the root ball.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman on the tour with us who had a little bit of special needs. He was like pretty super mobile, but he just had a little bit harder time stepping.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not going to be able to make this. And he rallied, and the tour guide helped him
over. Yeah. But I mean, it was a challenge for sure.
I mean, it was a challenge for me to get over that thing. And I'm like fully able. So like super kudos to the guy for sticking to it. I felt bad, but at the same time, it was a little rough. This is the sort of the read the reviews sometimes when you do an experience or a hike or something, because it did say it's a walk, and it said in some countries this may be considered a hike.
It was somewhere, I mean, the first part up all those stairs was definitely what I would consider a hike.
Yeah.
The second part was more of a walk, but
except for climbing over and that we walked through mud for like 4 hours.
But when everything was so muddy, it was really challenging. Like, if it had been like clear and dry, then it would just have been
awesome.
A lovely walk.
Yeah.
Instead, I mean, and it was still lovely, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was slippery.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I ended up the dirtiest of anyone.
Yeah. You fell 3 times?
I fell 3 times.
Yeah. Covered in mud. There's I don't know if it's on Instagram. It might be on our personal Facebooks that you have the picture of you covered in mud.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah. We got back to the Airbnb, and I wasn't planning on doing laundry there, but we had to wash all of our clothes because they were just covered in mud.
We're back to Henry VIII.
Right.
Being an asshole. But we went into this little church, right?
Oh, right.
We stopped in this little church, and like one of the people on the tour said, "Is this Catholic or Protestant?" And the tour guide, who is Welsh, was like, "Protestant?" Like, but I didn't even quite get the right tone, but it was like his Protestant was like, why would this be anything other than Protestant? Right. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is actually interesting. I'm going to take an aside here. Uh-huh. I was back in the office 2 weeks ago. We were chatting with some folks. Or I was chatting with some folks. And we were kind of talking about the Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas. And in England, they were saying that, like, they definitely just say Merry Christmas.
Don't they say Happy Christmas?
Well, they say Happy Christmas too, right? But it's Christmas. And they were like, why do you say Happy Holidays there? Because it was one of the people who works in that office actually lived in the U.S. for a while. And she was like, oh, right, then in the U.S. you say Happy Holidays. And I was like, well, it's kind of complicated. Some people kind of weaponize Merry Christmas, or, there's also just some tension about that. And I was like, we also live in a very, diverse culture. And that, like, a lot of people are not necessarily Christians. Right. And I said something like, well, we have a really big Jewish population as well. And her response was, oh, we don't really have Jewish people here. I was like, ouch. Yeah. Yeah. So
I don't actually think that's probably accurate.
No, I'm sure it's not. But I think the idea, though, this comes back to what you were saying, was like, there's hundreds of years of, this is the whole, part of the reason why people moved to the New World, right? Was to avoid some of these problems. Yeah.
So we could say Happy Holidays.
So we could have our own problems.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could have a war on Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Winning that war. Happy Holidays.
Right.
Everyone.
Anyways, so
okay.
sorry to get a little bit sidetracked on that.
That was a total aside.
It was interesting.
So again, this podcast is done with low editing. It's just a conversation between Matt and I. Out to you, our listeners. Thank you for listening.
But we haven't even gotten to the Abbey or the castle that we were at.
Okay, so the Abbey was lovely. It was much larger than I expected. It was beautiful. It was almost entirely empty. There was one other set of tourists besides our 6-person tour group, and one of those people didn't even go in, so our 5-person tour group. So that was amazing. Yeah. We only spent maybe half an hour inside there. I maybe could have spent more time, but also, like, I don't necessarily feel like I was super shorted on time.
No. Yeah. I would have spent more time, but I didn't feel like I needed more time. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful,
it's just
giant
so cool
space.
To walk through it. Yeah. And one of the things I think is interesting, we talked about this a little bit too. We were during the walk, and then also while we were at the Abbey. There's a lot of grass, and there are paths that you're supposed to walk on. And this was also when the other place we went, the castle we went to, was Caerphilly.
Caerphilly, yeah.
Which is Caer, which is Welsh for fort. Yeah. And Philly is
Welsh for
spelled like our Philly, but it's not spelled that way in Welsh. But In the English version, it's Caerphilly.
Sorry, it's not actually Welsh for horse. Don't believe me.
No, I don't think it is. So, but in both the places, right? There's paths that you can walk, and the other people we ran into, one of them was in a wheelchair, and she was an elderly woman, and she, they were getting around to all the places you could go, but there were also places you could definitely go to that were off the path and were not like you could go there and you maybe should or shouldn't, but you should definitely go, which I think was kind of interesting, especially at Caerphilly. Is like there were sections that you wouldn't get to unless you walked there, but when you walked there through the grass to get to it, it was obviously you were supposed to go.
Right.
Which I feel like in the U.S., most places, like there is a path and you're supposed to stick to the path.
Yeah, it's true.
And here, there's a path for like mobility issues, but there's also other places you can go, right? But also, Caerphilly also was hardly anyone was there.
Yeah.
There was probably another like 8 people.
But you're jumping ahead a little bit. So
we're talking about the Abbey.
Right. So, well, I mean, we can kind of wrap up on the Abbey, just that it was lovely. The tour was delightful, although incredibly muddy. And
it was also like 2.5 hours longer than it said it was supposed to be.
And more tiring than I expected it to be. I also, had a cold that day, so so maybe it was a little bit like more tiring than it otherwise would have been.
Yeah.
But second day, we decided to also go out of Cardiff, this time on our own instead of on a tour, to a castle that I hadn't been to before. So Wales has the most castles
per capita
of anywhere in Europe. So there's a lot of castles here.
Or maybe more than just Europe.
Yeah, maybe anywhere in the world. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, we walked by one today in Mumbles.
And a sign for a third one, and we know there's also one in Swansea.
And there's a Swansea castle.
So within just a few miles, there's like 3 castles potentially?
Yeah.
What?
There's a lot of castles in Wales. So
well, there was a lot of war and oppression here, I think, is what we saw. Yeah.
So Cardiff has a lovely castle. It's right smack downtown, that is very easy to visit. I had visited it before, but I hadn't been to Caerphilly, so we decided we were going to go out there, especially because the tour guide told us it was only a 15-minute train ride.
Yeah. So easy.
So I was like, sure, let's go. So we hopped on the train, also in the center of town.
Right. Also, again, the 2 together tip. If you're traveling with a partner, get the 2 together.
Yep, because that saved us some money. And then once we got to Caerphilly, we got 2-for-1 entrance because we had our train tickets.
Oh, right, yeah. I didn't ask you this. To do the two together, do you have to be like a different gendered partners?
No,
okay, so it could be like,
it could be anyone. But you do have to upload photos of yourself, and we did have one person check our pictures on a train. So you have to. I just uploaded like copies of our passport photos. I mean, they don't have to be. They just have to look like you. But so it does have to. You do have to be able to prove that you are the 2 people that bought that pass together.
And you are the 2 people that are traveling together.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it could be you and your friend, or you and your sister. Or
awesome.
Whoever.
Good. I just wanted to. I was a little worried that it might be like weirdly heteronormatively oppressive or something like that. Okay.
No, it could be any 2 people as long as you are traveling together.
Yeah. No, we saved a fair amount of money on that just in the like few days that we've had that pass.
And they're good for a year.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back so we can use it some more.
Okay.
I keep making this joke. I don't actually think it's going to happen.
Oh man, we realized that we've been traveling for 2 months of the 12-month year this year.
Yeah, Matt's been out of town for 8 weeks. I've been out of town for 6 weeks.
Yeah. I miss my cat. I miss our house.
Yep.
But
it's been pretty intense. Anyway, so we hopped on the train.
Should we take a quick break and then come back and talk about the train? Or do you just want to forge on through?
No, let's talk about Caerphilly and then we'll move on.
Or not the train, but
move on to talk about inns. Because Caerphilly, we just...
Yeah.
Lovely ruins again. Almost no one there again.
Right.
Sunny day. Beautiful.
So big, too. It's bigger than Tintern Abbey.
Yeah.
There's more you can climb around and do there, I would say.
And so Because
do
it
both.
went up 5 stories, right? You said the one.
Yeah, you get to
castle
climb
area.
up
So
above the.
I only made it up to the 3rd story.
The stairs are a little janky, a little wet, and Rachel also took a spill.
Yeah, so I had dislocated my shoulder like earlier in the day, so I didn't really trust myself. If something happened and I needed to grab onto a railing, it seemed like I could just continue to damage the shoulder. So more wet stairs. I'd fallen 4 times in 2 days, so I thought, I'm only going to walk down like 3 flights of stairs, not 5.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty happy with the photos that my phone took from there, from actually both of them. So again, we've already said this in the Instagram. If you haven't gone to the Instagram, like I think the photos are worth going to this time. Yeah. There's also some other random crap. We have our Thanksgiving dinner. We've got some other things in there, but the ruins are pretty awesome.
They are.
Like we aren't normally a ruins church kind of vacation people, but these were fantastic.
Yeah, it's very large. There's a moat. There are 2 castle walls. What do I want to say? It's not recreated, but I mean, it's been restored.
It's been restored.
It's been restored, but not in a like overly restored way, right? Just like in a way that you can walk around safely. Mm-hmm. But you
still can't go to a bunch of places that you would maybe want to go to. Yeah.
But there was a guy playing live music in one of the halls,
and it was just like acoustic, like 90s music or something like that. But it was phenomenal.
It was fun. Yeah. And then, I mean, it was a nice, like, sort of open-ended, just, like, walk around. And it really was impressive that, like, both of those places that are quite touristy, I think, were just completely empty.
Yeah, off-season.
Off-season.
Yeah. The wet season for sure out here.
Yeah.
But we got sun that day, too.
It's been very damp. Yeah. But, I mean, we got sun both days.
You get some amazing views of the countryside from the top of the castle. Well, fort.
Yep.
Caerphilly, that is. Caerphilly. You have to take the stairs carefully.
Carefully, yeah.
Ba-doom, boom. But anyways, we've been going a bit here. Let's take a quick break. We'll and then we'll just do a short end wrap up with some of the places we stayed, huh?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so for the second half of the Inns and Cathedrals concept here,
we're going to talk about inns.
Right, so we talked about cathedrals the first time, although really we talked
Castles
about
and
the
cathedrals.
abbey and forts.
But they both had cathedrals as part of them, so
yeah, this is true. Yeah.
It qualifies.
But today, so we're in Swansea, which is where Wales was. Rachel's name is not Wales. Where Rachel was when she was in Wales a number of years back. And we took a little bit of a tour of your old haunts, right?
Yeah, we did like a nostalgia walk. So,
in fact, we're staying across the street from where you live.
Yep.
When you were here.
Yep. So we were in the Uplands neighborhood of Swansea. When I was here, I lived in T-Beck House, which you shouldn't, because T means house. So I just basically said Beck House.
Which we only learned today, right? Yeah.
Or remembered. I probably knew that before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but it was like the international house for students. So I stayed there when I studied abroad. I was a little bit older than most of the other people. And I was like, I am not staying in dorms with 18-year-olds. Also, I want my own bathroom. So I stayed in T-Beck House, and I had 4 Greek roommates, 1 Russian roommate, 1 Polish roommate, and 1 German roommate. And me, and
a bunch of cured fish and vodka in the refrigerator.
Indeed. Still a favorite story to tell my students. So anyway, so today, because we are staying right across the street, we took my old walk from the house down to campus. We didn't have to take the walk back because we took a cab, which meant we avoided the giant climbing hill, which is what we would have had to do. So we went to campus. Everything seems actually quite similar to what it was previously. We went to the pub on the 2nd floor of the student center.
JC's. So we got to do a shout out here. People are not going to send us emails because they don't, but rein it in at ssdpress.org or hit us on our Instagram or on our Facebook, which is like rein it in _podcast or rein it in podcast, whichever one. But let us know if you studied abroad in Swansea, because we know a couple people who have.
Oh, yeah.
And if you drank at JC's
pub
in the student union.
Yeah. There's also a dance club somewhere on campus, or at least there used to be. But
is Cheat the DJ?
Yes, and alcopops. Many alcopops were drunk.
Not today, but in the past.
No, in the past. So we stopped at the pub, wandered around campus a little bit. Then
we failed to catch the bus.
But that was actually okay because it was a reasonably nice day again. So we walked along Swansea Bay. I think the second largest tidal.
That's what the internet told you today.
Tidal
area,
whatever. Anyway, the tide goes out so goddamn far.
I mean, it is okay. I'm not that familiar with bays because I'm more of an inland and mountain person, but that bay seems big because it's big. We walked like 2 miles and we were in like not even 1/3 of the arch.
Oh no,
it was like a quarter.
Not even a quarter.
Yeah, because it was the whole of the town.
You can see all the way to Port Talbot. Yeah.
So I mean, this is like miles and miles. This bay, and it's like a big crescent. Yeah. But that water went out a long, long ways. It was like probably half the bay empties out for this thing.
So we walked along it during low tide so we could walk along the beach. I mean, we didn't plan it that way. Just that's how it happened. And we walked out to Mumbles, which is a little town adjacent to Swansea. That's it's on a lake peninsula. So
it's the other edge of the bay.
I was just going to explain to you what a peninsula is, but you already know what that is, so I don't need to do that.
She's also using hand. She's showing you in her hand what the peninsula looks like, but
it's sort of like duck motions.
Or is that crab motions?
Anyway. Peninsular hand gestures.
Anyways, it's on the top end of the crescent. But we walked out there and we made a tour of some of the local inns.
Yep. So we started at one of my favorite pubs that we've been to in my time in the UK so far, which was called the Woodman Inn. I don't know, it was just really pleasant. It had a fire going. Yeah. There was like an old guy with dreads, which was funny.
I didn't see the old guy with dreads.
Old Welsh guy with dreads.
And I saw a young Welsh guy with dreads. I don't know if he was Welsh.
I know, yeah. Two sets of white guy dreads today.
But we had it was chill. It was not too hot, not too cold.
It was very nice.
Yeah. Beer was good.
So we had a beer there. I don't remember what beer I had.
Nope.
Oh,
you had a Green King.
Did I?
Didn't you? No, you had a Green King the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Anyway, doesn't matter. So then we...
More cask ales.
Hopped back out to our walk, kept walking, stopped when we got into actually Mumbles proper.
Yeah.
We stopped at the White Rose, which is a pub that's been there forever. Mumbles used to have a thing called the Mumbles Mile where there were like 30 pubs or something within this mile, and people would go there and try to hit all of them. And that is something that I did when I was here, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
There's
still plenty of stuff along those.
There's still plenty of stuff, but there's no longer like...
It seems like there's more houses now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because real estate is expensive, so I'm sure even there.
Well, I mean, it just, it got kind of like overblown and everybody was like crazy partying out there.
Yeah.
And then I think they just kind of like...
kiboshed it.
Yeah. So there's no longer a Mumbles Mile, although there are still plenty of places to stop and have a drink.
Yeah. But we stopped there. We missed the main drag that goes up the hill.
Right.
But kept on walking, and it started drizzling, raining a little bit more as we went. And then we stopped at the Pilot.
The Pilot was the last stop. Yeah. So
that was my favorite beer of the day, I think.
The Pilot, and we both got it was brewed there.
Right. I got the Golden Pilot or Golden something, and you got the...
I got a stout.
Black Gold.
Yeah,
I think yours is
something
called.
like that. So
It's good. Both of them were super tasty.
Yeah. So all three of them were nice pub experiences.
I left some free art there. We haven't talked about free art on the podcast for a while.
We haven't.
So Free Art Friday, pound FAFATL on Instagram and sometimes Twitter. Not just me, but a lot of people do that. And but yeah, I've been trying to drop a few things around. So there's some of those on Instagram, just giving people some free art littering and cool stuff. But that was pretty much it, right? We hit the grocery store, hit a wine store, made a fun little Thanksgiving dinner here, and had some Welsh lamb.
Yep. And Moroccan sauce.
Yeah.
It was great.
So, all right, we got like 2 days left, right? Tomorrow we're going out to
Rossili Bay.
Rossili Bay.
Rossili Bay.
Yeah, however they yeah, we get the accents
on the bus.
wrong here. Yeah.
So we're going to take an hour-long bus trip out to the bay. It's supposed to be, I think, sunny but cold.
Okay.
And we'll hopefully get some good pictures out there. And then we head back to London Airport Hotel and home to.
Yeah, we might see
cat.
my cousin on Sunday evening if we get back in time. Saturday, yeah, Saturday evening. But yeah, we'll get back to you with one last episode as a wrap up probably once we get back to the States.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thanks
for
everybody.
listening.
Bye. You can check us out at anchor.fm/rainitin. That's spelled REINITIN, all one word, no spaces, and you can leave us a message there. You can also follow us at Instagram at rainitin_podcast or email us at rainitin@ssdpress.org, also spelled REINITIN at ssdpress.org. Thanks again to all of our friends and family for all the support and for putting up with us. Have a great day.